We are. Wow, it's been so long, I feel. I mean, 2 weeks. 2 weeks isn't too bad. But, you know, could be bad. Let me see. Just doing my usual music adjustment here. Oh, man. Oh, man. It's the end of June now. I'm supposed to be done with this experiment slash the game demo release by now, but, you know, life has been happening, and I have been kind of distracted a little bit with making the game better. Unfortunately, I couldn't say, oh, this is good enough and just call it quits. There are new ideas that keeps popping up. And you know what that means? That means I have to sit down and do more design, more planning. But I think it's for the better, so I'm not too worried about that quite. Hey, Void. Hey, Taiwan. Hello, hello. Am I saying that right? No. No, it's Tawanda. Tawanda Game Devs. Hello. Live now. Just making my little announcement first. Hey, Kami. Kami says, do you make your own game music? If so, any tips for a beginner? You know what? Honestly, that's something that I should learn myself. You know, I used to make music a long time ago, and I lost all of that ability. I mean, I would say lost is being generous. I think it's just like a lot of the concept and natural like tendencies and the feel for music has gone away for me. So I want to start playing music again. But if I have to recall to when I used to, what does help is listening to a lot of things and then experimenting and playing a lot of music yourself. Because like expressing and hearing a feedback of like things that you do coming back, that gives you some like little signal to get you a little bit activated in some ways, is my experience. So I'm trying to get back to that mode, which means I need to go purchase some electric keyboard. Otherwise, recently, I mean, for game jams, I have made my own music before or skip it altogether because that's just usually not my focus. But recently, I have been talking with like musicians to get them like contracted. So that's one thing that I have been doing. Hey, XFC. Hey, everyone. Sorry. I'm in the middle of doing some narrative stuff. I took a long detour because really the game mechanic and the system itself is basically done, and I just need to make the game. In some ways, the game is made. It's just I don't like the flow of it. I don't feel good about putting this game as of right now out there as a demo because I don't think it's a accurate representation of everything, right? So not only am I doing the visual content polishing, I'm doing narrative content polishing, and I ended up doing this like whole design session of like, okay, what does it mean to have a narrative? What is this world building? What has happened in the history? And like, what are the events? What are potential NPCs and their interactions I want? What are the personalities of the NPCs? And how do they interact with each other? What does it mean? Because the main mechanic of the game right now is that every run, the decisions that these NPCs made in their life is different in the moment of the event of the shatter, which is where the player comes into this world. So I'm building history, what it means to play them, and also for a demo, I don't want one path of the story to be drier than the other, right? Because the problem is that one of the play path through might be really robust and fun, but if I make it so that some of the other path makes it not as like rich in content, then like some people, like 50% of the people will have bad experience versus the 50%. So in order to kind of enrich everybody's experience, I am doing this like narrative pass. As you can see, there's a lot. And now I'm like, well, there's complex web of things that I want to happen. I want to have a better idea. So I decided to start documenting each of the NPCs, the main NPCs, and their initial state, how they relate. And I'm trying to take advantage of the Obsidian's ability to graph to see how they like to help me understand what's going on. Like I've planned each individual like events here and there. It's just that I don't know how full the tree is. So I'm trying to get that going right now. Let's see. XFC says, hi, the goat is streaming. I just hit the jackpot. By the way, I'm on ads. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry for the ads. It says ad is starting soon. But I'm not sure what that means. Let's see. Kami says, okay, thanks, buddy. Give me 1 year and you will contract with me. All right, great. I have a future musician in line. XFC says, oh, now I'm free. Free from the ads, I see. Who says, back again. Hi, Az. Hi, everyone. Just came from watching the World Cup match. Oh, World Cup has been interesting, hasn't it? And I'm in the city where they're playing the games. So every weekend or the weekdays when there are games, it gets pretty crazy over here. Sorry about that. I can't control it. People are fighting through the ads, so I'll just wait a little bit. I'm just gonna catch up here. XFC says, Ezra improved coding skill, make new part of the game, old part looks bad, repeat. Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, it's just what it is. It's like I keep going through. I'm like, okay, I did the game. I made the game mechanic. And the best, like the most complete time was when it was a game jam game. It was a game jam submission. It felt complete. It didn't have like fully thought out story. It was playable, fun enough. But as soon as you get to the point of like, well, we got to make this like a full game, the cycle never ends, I feel. XFC says, it's all okay. No, as why? I hate these ads. XFC says, I don't hit the jackpot. Dang. 1 minute. Great. Now I'm losing all the explanation. It's okay. You can ask again if you missed something. Also, VOD. For those of you who is watching the VOD, hello. I have been doing some planning. I have a plan for creating more recorded videos. I know I've been saying this for like forever now, but for reals. I have been kind of planning that through, trying to figure things out. Because I gotta get this content making kind of locked in. But first of all, I need to get this game on the loose, right? So we're on the narrative grind today. I don't know how much of this I wanted to do. This reason I skipped last week was because I was working on some of this, and I didn't want people to know exactly all the backstories that I'm planning. But at the same time, there's only like 20, I mean, at most like 200 people that's watching the VOD, right? So it's like, it's not that much of a people, right? Because if my target goal is like 1 million copies sold, for example, I don't think I'll sell 1 million copy or even near it. But you know, I don't think it's bad. It might be a good marketing, right? So, some loose background that I've decided so far. So the concept is that there is some sort of entity, kind of like a godlike being, I guess divinity in some sort, or nature, of order versus disorder. And it goes along with this whole like shattering the crystal. There is a structure, because we're naturally traveling the graph system. By the way, this is the security construct. New enemy type, where they're scanning each adjacent nodes, and if you get discovered by them, you get sent back to the previous node, so it wastes your energy and type of thing. So I was experimenting with some of these mechanics. Anyways, so the story so far that I've written, that I still feel a little bit iffy about talking about it, because I'm like, how much of this needs to be secret and a surprise? But you know, it is whatever. So the background right now, there's an order versus disorder. It was in balance. There was no particular reason for anybody to prefer one or the other. They were both existing. Oh, by the way, yeah, this is a spoiler. Skip through if you're watching this VOD and you want to find this out naturally. But I think there's some part of this that doesn't really have to be too secretive, but there is something that I want to keep kind of secret. So I'll try to make sure I keep most of it as fundamental as possible. So there's an order and disorder. So the nature of the crystal breaking makes sense, right? Crystal is naturally an ordered construction of compounds, right? Or elements that makes a crystal. So the idea was that there was a balance, and then there was a whisper where the order felt frustrated by the disorder, the chaos, right? And then in the history, the order started to whisper into the followers of the order to say, hey, like, we don't want chaos. We want to increase the structure, more definitiveness. We want to be able to predict how the future goes. We want safety, right? Those are all good things. And in order to ward off chaos, in order to ward off randomness, the followers start to construct the shrine that is called the lattice, like the lattice of the crystal structure. Hey, Baka. I'm talking about a little bit of the story that I built, the background story that I've built for the narrative design for Through the Shadow right now. And then I'll show you the new capsule art, which is complete now. Anyways, so order versus disorder. Order started to whisper into the ears of the followers, being like, hey, like, order is better. Disorder is clearly evil. And so they started to spread the idea into the world of let's build these shrines and structure throughout the world to construct this crystalline protection against the void, which is also chaos, which is also disorder. They're all synonymous. So then that was successful. Shrines were constructed. They formed a overall network of power called the lattice, which powers the crystal, which removes randomness. But of course, while this was happening, the disorder had to plant a seed of, hey, I will be back type of thing. And the idea is that, well, this world is completely warded off now. So somebody who is outside of this world has to enter this world in order to create this gap. It's the hole in the code. It's the vulnerability, and that is being outside of the world, which is a player with the agency. So player entering breaks the crystal, in turn start to be the agent of chaos in some way, knowingly or unknowingly, and a world goes through another opportunity to experience order versus disorder. XFC says, did you add more enemies or just this one? That one is one particular one. I did the kind of like the level design documentation of like what it means to have increasing difficulties in here. I am thinking of some sort of quote unquote combat, but not really like reactive combat, but more because I want to stay on theme of like, it's about predicting the world and then making decisions based on that. So there's some, I'm not going to talk about it all. But yeah, so that's the background. So player, I was hoping that some of the story of like the ledger of the shrine keeper or the history of disorder versus the order, like those things would pop up in different like environmental storytelling, hopefully that players can, or the community can start building and constructing the story together to be like, oh, this is what must have happened type of thing. One of the most important part that I'm having a lot of trouble with, that I got into this like thing is, as part of this like order versus disorder roguelike thing, I wanted each of the NPCs to have a decision they were making, or they are deciding between the orderliness and predictableness versus the disorder in their life. And this happens in the moment of the crystal fracture, right? So one example that I'm going with here is that the, let's see, Simple Sprouty, the traveling merchant, right? The world became unstable. They are a traveling merchant. Do they stick with easy, safe route of being a simple provision-based travel merchant that provides basic material? So then the merchant they're easily accessible. They're within the towns. They provide provision packs, some like consumables, and something that is like obvious and easy with a predictable result. versus do they go to the mountain looking for opportunity to look for a rare relic, and it's riskier to go get. But if they take those paths, then you get items that are a little bit more unpredictable type of thing. Thank you. Void says bless you. Yeah, thanks. So that's just kind of mapping that I'm doing right now. I got really confused, so I started doing the initial state. So like, what are these NPCs at? Where are they initially? So I've introduced few characters right now. We have a warden who's a storage warden. They took care of and distributed the provisions throughout the world and under the influence of the crystal. Sprouty is merchant. Smithy is just a crystal artificer. And basically the idea is that in this post-shatter, right? The event is the shatter where the player interacted with the crystal and the game starts. The void starts to creep in, and some of the new materials that wasn't there before starts to creep in. So there's a decision of like, do they decide to experiment with the unstable, unknown material where the effect is not exactly deterministic? Or do they stick with what they know? Hey, Abelink, long time no see. Abelink says, how have you been? Been well. We're in the process of trying to launch a demo. I'm just talking about our lore a little bit. Let's see. Baka Design, we said hi. Hi, Red Dev. Haven't seen Red Dev in a while either. Spoilers, yeah. A lot of spoilers here. Baka says, the stable structure of the crystal versus the chaos of entropy. Yeah, exactly. And you know what's funny? Because a lot of these... Hey, Covino. Oh, hey, thanks for the raid. I hope your launch is going well. Let's give it a little shout out. Long time no see, everyone. The Covino raiders especially. I have been away. Obviously, my day job has been taking a lot of energy from me. But also, I've been telling myself that end of June would be the release date for the demo. We're end of June now. Well, I don't know why I can't shout out here for some reason. Shout out. Am I doing it wrong? Isn't that / shout out? Just Kofi. I forgot how to stream, guys. There we go. Kofi's like, yeah, where the heck is demo? Well, demo isn't here, but guess what? We have something exciting still. Let me show you. I think I can here. Hold on. Oh, you know what? I can show you something here. I'll go to my Steamworks. I have an unreleased beta page. I didn't want to do the visual update upgrade yet. Hold on, this is not how I'm going to do it. Home. I didn't release a new Steam page yet because I wanted to get the trailer done because I didn't want to attract anyone without getting all the materials ready. But I have a new capsule art, finally. And it's actually pretty exciting. Let's see. View my beta page. How do I do that? I think I can do that somewhere here. Publish? Do I have to go to publish here? Ah, beta mode. Hold on. So look. Oh, we got through to shatter. New capsule art. Isn't it exciting? This is really good. I really like it. And I think I got a pretty good deal in terms of how it looks. Obviously, there are different library sizes. I should probably update my little overlay as well with the new one. You know what? I'll do that right now as well. But yeah, so I was just talking about the lore. Reason I'm delaying right now is because as I was going through the game mechanics, polishing out the first-time user experience, I felt a little lack of lore and storytelling that I felt like I had ideas for it, but then it wasn't being expressed. So now I'm taking some time today, or I have been taking some time to get that first Act 1 to 1.5, essentially, for the demo. Kind of, what do you call it? Ironed out. Kami says, how long are you working on this game, and when do you think it's going to launch, hopefully? Well, I have been working on this for 5 months now, I think. 5 or 4 months, one of those others. Initially, it was a game jam entry, and then we decided to quickly make a game out of it. That quick game out of it turned into months. Today, basically, within next 3 days, I was supposed to release a demo, start doing marketing push in hopes that I will do October Next Fest. And then the actual release date, I was hoping that would be like 2 months within that Next Fest. So at the end of the year or beginning of the year was the original full release goal. But obviously I got a day job now, so I'm managing that. So I don't know how that's going to work out overall. But I still, this whole like, oh, you know, I'm just making a simple mechanic game. I just want to release something just to have something under my belt, to like, well, I still want it to be like 10 hours meaningful gameplay, to like, well, here's some ideas. I don't want to waste this idea. So I'm like ironing things out stage. Still, I think we're early on. I don't feel like we're too behind. I think within a year, full release is still a possibility. It's just that this initial hardening of the game design part is the difficult part. But, you know, it is what it is. Anyways, I'm going to update this real quick. So that will update to project management, Steam asset. Let's see. Library logo. That's pretty cool. I wonder if I should do, let's see, is there smaller? Classic. This is pretty cool too. Which one should I use for my overlay? Just a small version? Should I do this one? Covina says, woo, exciting stuff. Yeah, thanks. Says, gotta grab some dinner, Lurk. Yeah, thanks for the rate, no problem. Semikin says, I don't recall seeing this game. What is this about? This is the graph, a roguelike strategy and adventure. Right now, I was just explaining the lore a little bit. Basically, there is a order versus disorder where a world that's been taken over by the order, the structure, and deterministic world, where the fourth dimensional being, which is us, the player entering this world, breaks the crystal, which makes it fractured into multiple possibilities, essentially. So you're being an agent of chaos, resetting this world in some ways. And main game mechanic is just graph traversal. You're just traversing through the graph while using provision. And the whole idea is like you make upgrades, you get items, you interact narratively, you find stuff in order to reveal more about the world, get to the end type of thing. Very non-committal game mechanic. And that's the side effect of it being just a game jam game initially, but I think I've been doing a lot of design work of like, okay, how do I still make it so that it feels like, you know, there's this like progress. Maybe this is... Okay, this is good. I'm going to use this one. So I'll do this one. And then maybe, sorry, you're going to be able to see two of me here. I'll do it like that. I think that's good, right? And then I'll do the text here like that. I mean, it covers big part of my screen. That's why it's a little bit frustrating, but I don't know if that's going to be a problem. Just let me know if it covers important part. But yeah, anyways. People are saying hi. I know everybody's saying hi because it's been a while. It's been that long. Let's see. Did I miss anything? Abling says, well, I'm in the middle of telecom company internship. Oh, fun. Congratulations. Well, I can't say if working is fun, but yeah. You know, so it is what it is. We're still making games. XFC says, wow, now I'm reading the messages and my English is trash. Sometimes it happens, you know. When we're distracted by ads, we can't type, apparently. Let's see. Voice says, no need to think too much. Sometimes it's best to leave things to others' imagination. Yes, fair. Exciting stuff. Covino said, ooh, got the Steam page into works. Nice. Yeah. I'm trying to get the trailer out, but I can't do trailer until the visual identity is fully locked in. Psionic Calibratory says, very cool concept. Have you ever thought about making the level graphs 3D crystal? You know, I haven't worked with 3D at all in my life. And that's the only reason I'm not doing it. Like, there's an opportunity for me to say, okay, let's step back and learn and use that. It's just that right now, I don't want to do that yet. I have an opportunity for the next game after I do the demo version of this. For the next game, I might try 3D. XFC says, that's right, you could use the jiggle effect on the line when the new enemies check the lines. I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to, but sounds interesting. All right, anyways. So yeah, I'm just going through this now. The unfortunate part of this is that this is kind of boring part. Also spoiler full part of development. So it's like kind of iffy streaming. Like I got to a point where today, like it's been 2 weeks. I had to have streamed. Like I have to stream. There's no doubt about that. But then I'm at a part where I'm like, I'm little iffy about sharing everything. So, you know, make do with it as you will. Cat on YouTube says, would you recommend splitting input handling and using it where it's needed, or having single auto load that handles all inputs? You know, it really depends on the case. I like splitting it for the most part, but most big games do funneling. Because as much as Godot does like the input consumption well, like you can be like, oh, this input is handled, and then downstream, like it won't. The managing of like some of the input commands or script running in different nodes, like in what order, does get a little tricky. So if you have an auto load that is like input funneling or handles it as a whole, it's easier to upkeep, especially in a more complex game. In fact, I think like games like Slay the Spire does that, especially. Oh, there's another benefit to this is like reason you want to have a unified input handling place is because if you're handling multiple controllers, like if you're doing keyboard and mouse versus controller, you need to be able to detect and switch between the two. And if you distribute that logic all over the place where you have if then in everywhere, it gets a little hard to handle. That's my experience, at least. Let's see. XFC says that jiggle effect that you show in stream when we were talking about that lava water shader. Oh, I see. Yeah, no, I used that jiggle effect on the I ended up making my own version of it. Well, I mean, I just didn't copy and paste, but it's exactly the same logic. For the crystal region structure. Let me show you. Sinus says, totally fair. I've done graphic design for years and I'm going through the process of trying Blender. Even just the UI is definitely a learning curve. Yeah. I mean, especially like if you're not used to thinking in 3D. But yeah, XFC, this one right here. You see how like the edges of the crystal is a little wobbly? That I'm using the jiggle effect. So I am using it. Bobby says, are you going to use Godot for a 3D game? Eventually. That is a goal. I do want to do it. Ooh, by the way, I wanted to show this. I hinted at this. I've been making a lot of upgrades to my Easy Dialogue plugin. And I wanted to showcase this a little bit. You know what? This will be a little advertisement, I guess. Initially, I was like, I'm going to make a premium version of this. Because, you know, I wanted to do an SS store, right? Now that in 4.7 of Godot, SS store is like available. So maybe I can make my free version of Easy Dialogue is just there, but like all the additional features would be a quote unquote premium. But then after having done this for a while, I'm like, I don't know if I can like make this a premium experience or not. So let me show you an example of what's going on here. So obviously I changed the visual entity or identity of the dialog plugin in the first place. And it's the normal. You use the left panel as a organizational structure where you can create the nodes, you can move things around, and then you can create the content through writing here. There's a little bit of scripting, and then there's new commands called set. So instead of I used to have this like signal thing where you can call out, you can signal to external function to make your own implementation. And that's how I've been using what I've been using to do a set. So for example, this is a flag setting, right? But now there is like a built-in command for setting. And reason I did built-in command for setting is because I have this like variable manager that I added. This is a dialog variable manager where you can create dialog variable for either global or for the file itself, like global for the whole project or not. And then it tells you where it's being used. Like it's like, oh, it's read by this node and file. It is being manipulated by this node, right? And then you can have a little description for yourself. And this is important because I have this thing called matrix. So when making games like Baldur's Gate 3 or like complex quest system, sometimes what bogs you down or confuses you is just the fact that you don't know what are all the combinatorics that you are handling as an end result. So what this shows me is that for these different variables that are available in this node, it shows you a potential state of those variables. So for example, if I say like, you can filter them too. Let's say I care about these two variables. And so you can see on these edges, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4 edge nodes. You can see what the state that you see are in these edge nodes. So in dialog node, you have this, which is required. So this variable is always available in this, and it is required to be not true. This is required to be true, and this one is passed, and blah, blah, blah. So because I was like, oh, you know what? I want to make a really complex like visual novel with like every single combination of things handle. So this is it. And then of course I have tracing here. Another additional thing I added was obviously you can see that there's a tag, notes, and then also incoming references. You can see if this becomes more complicated, you can see where, what the context is, like incoming context is. So from here, all these things are happening. So you can see that this node is available and these values were set by the time the node gets here. And then you can also create tags. So for example, I could say, hey, this node dialog is hero, money, and then I can search for those tags. I can say, hey, give me a tag hero, and then I'll give me all those things. So for like just better planning, the better dialogue management. So this is something I've been working with. So I'm excited about this. I don't feel like I can release it until I use it in my own personal project. So, but I think the potential is there. Anyways, that was a detour. That was a big detour of what we were talking about. Anyways, so two things I'm working on: the dialog plugin for SS Store, upgraded version, and then I'm working on this dialog or the planning right now. XFC says, cool, I don't understand a single effing line of code. It'd be like that sometimes. The Great Charles the Ninth says, hi. Hello. Void says, wanted to try it out. You should try it out. I should try it out myself. But, I've been doing a lot of, and that's a problem. You can do a lot of like planning and tool building, but if you don't use it yourself, it's kind of useless, I mean, I guess you could do a lot of guessing, but, it's just never going to be the same as using it yourself and finding its function. Okay, what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to grab the copy of my Steam page so I can say wish list now and then link, so I can pin these comments before I move on with anything else. Wish list now. I should probably say wish list on Steam now. No? Maybe. I don't know. Anyways. So here we are. Cooley says, I'm lurking, but wanted to say hi. Hey, Cooley. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Go ahead and lurk. I don't know how long we're going to be here today, but we're going through what we're going through. The Great Charles the Ninth. In order for you to use a berry commands, like getting the berries here, it's on my About page on Twitch. You got to use channel point redemption and grab one of those gachapon berries, and you can do a bunch of things. Anyways, all right. So what is happening so far? So we have 5 main characters here. One cool thing that I was thinking about this, my friend gave me this idea. So apparently dragons take on nature affinity based on where there were eggs were hatched. Did you know that? I don't know if this is like a D&D dragons or like very special type of dragons. So I heard about that and I was like, oh, it would be cool if one of the narrative, like a variation, is where the dragon's egg was in the possession of Sprouty the merchant. And depending on what they decide to do, so Sprouty right now is like deciding to either go into the mountain, risking rare, more unstable relics, versus just going through villages. He or she or they will misplace the egg in the mountain or the forest. So it's like a fetch request where, depending on where it is dropped off, it'll have 2 different affinity. And then, you know, depending on what affinity it has, it might interact differently from Smithy, who is a forger or artificer, versus like Melanoi, who is a void harvester in the dark forest. So we got some stuff going on here. All right. So anyways, I was saying that it's going to be boring. This stream potentially could be boring because I'm just going to keep writing states and events, going back and forth, reminding myself where I was. But yeah. All right. So we're saying initial state of the Smithy. No, we're going to work with Sprouty first. Sprouty is available in the village hub. So now we're also identifying what are the like special nodes that are always there in every run, like the named hubs. So we got the village hub, regional storage, we got the dwarven workshop, and I described what it means to explore, like the challenge here. This is like non-dangerous dead end. There's no hazards, but then like there are a lot of dead ends because of the cluster, which means you get to waste a lot of you get to waste a lot of provision by doing that. Dark forest is inaccessible, not because you can't access it, but because you can't see anything. You need the void lantern to see through the void cloud. Village hub is like free travel safe zone. Initially Sprouty is there. Also there's a regenerating provision packs here, so people can always come back to replenish. Yeah, that's what we have so far. So we're very much in the back to the drawing board here in a bit. Okay, so Sprouty decides to go somewhere. Player approaches the cart or Sprouty. Tech talks about everything's loose now, blah, blah, blah. Encouraging caution. So this dialogue, exact dialogue, back and forth, I do want to kind of fill it in, but maybe no. So I haven't decided if the player should, if it would be more fun. So I'm just imagining myself here. So this is a decision point. So Sprouty could either go a classic trade route, traveling through safe routes, versus going to the deep mountain mission. Now, according to my original design plan, oh, hey, Real Cruda says, game has been wishlisted. Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. Well met. Well met. So initial design goal was that, hey, players get to see a version of the NPC's decision every run. And at the end of the run, when the game is fully released, depending on how much affinity or like friendship you have developed with this NPC, you get to unlock achievements, and that allows you to you get to actually make a choice yourself in the beginning of the game to say, Sprouty, I'm getting this version of the Sprouty versus this version of the Sprouty. So that's like, I don't get to really choose what version of this NPCs I get to see. I'm just experiencing the randomized version of the NPC. Versus every run I have an opportunity to influence the NPC's decision. What's better? I don't know. There's something about like learning a way things are and then rerunning and then seeing the different versions of that could be pretty cool. But Real Cruda, thanks for the follow on Twitch. Says, how long have you been working on this game? Officially I think 5 months now. right? This was one of the game here. I could find out real quick. You know what? I will do a full-on find out. So by the way, I do sell. If you see these dollar values, it's because I'm selling my SFPEC, which you can go buy on my itch. But let's see. This game, let's see, was called Cartographer. And initially, this was a submission for Godot Wild Gem number 90, which was on, when was this? February. So I submitted this game. It took me 1 week. So it was, let's say I started on February 13th. So March, April, May, June. So it's been 4 months. So since the initial Game Jam version of the game, I've been working on this for 4 months. So actually pretty good. We're on a good timeline, actually, in terms of how fast we're working on this. Real Kuruda says, oh, whoa, well done. I like the capsule art on the left. It looks very pretty. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's one thing that I pay money for sure. I hired the studio. I wonder if I should be like, hey, can I get some future discount if I get some people to go your way? I gotta get sponsors. Anyways, it was really nice. It was like, they gave me the deal was a full Steam asset package. So like, the capsule art, but all the visual format of the that's required by Steam. So like the library capsule, the long, narrow, different versions of it. They packaged that all for you at like 400 euro, 400 something euro, which is not a small amount of money. Like it's still expensive, but like for the amount of work you're getting, it's pretty good. Real Kuruda says, I was looking at capsule art and honestly, I was nearly sick at some of the prices of it. You mean hiring people? Yeah. It's kind of interesting because if you get an indie artist, like a hobbyist who's trying to break into the industry, they still charge quite a lot. They still would charge something along the lines of $200 to $300, right? And you can tell they lack a little bit. They're slightly amateurish in their design decision. Like it's good. Art is good. Structure is good, but it lacks that design decision, which is what pushes it up to that professional level and then look. So like at 400 euro, I was like, oh, it's hard to pass. Babiel says, heck yeah. Did you set up Discord presence for your game? There's process and it will show as an activity for profiles. No, I haven't. Is there a link? I need to do that. If there's a link, show it to me. There are a few things I need to do before I fully release the game. I mean, demo, I don't think I'm worried about it as much, but I definitely need a web presence, right? Like the searchable, either SEO or like, they call it now the AEO, right? Like the searchable in AI website, like front page. So people can either wish list through the web page, landing page and stuff like that. So I need to create that. Yeah, I got a lot of things to do before marketing push, but my priority right now, finish the story, finish the demo, make trailer, release the Steam page, make short videos, make long videos devlog, geared towards developers, and then make a long devlog geared towards player audience. So those are my to-do lists from now to October. A lot of things to do, and then somebody actually sent me some what do you call the little streamer hit list where I can just fill in my target goal and it gives me a list of all the email addresses or their Discord or Twitch channel tags that I can just message them to have them play my game. So Alcato says, is a website for wish listing actually helpful? Well, I mean, Steam page kind of does that, right? Because right now, if I search my game, the Steam page comes up, and that's enough, right? Steam page through the shatter. So, like, I can actually see my thing up here, and it shows up. So that might be enough. But I've seen people do web page because, like, I don't know, because it gives like the unified feeling for people to visit to, especially if you have multi-platform spread, right? If you're like, oh, I'm gonna release on PS4, Nintendo, blah blah blah, then website probably does a lot more. But I guess actually I don't need anything more than just a Steam page initially. But yeah, I don't know. I might have to ask people about that. Real Cruda says, I started my second game on the 5th of this month. Oh, I see. Well, I'm sure you'll get through it pretty quickly if it's your second game. But yeah, this is my first quote unquote like full release that I'm planning through, and it was supposed to be like, oh, just do a quick game jam and then just make a quick practice release. I just can't do a lightweight stuff. I mean, it's lightweight. Game mechanic itself is lightweight, but if I see an opportunity where the game can just be significantly better, that it'll feel more complete, then it's hard for me to kind of pass up on that. Anyways, we're a lot of chatting. I'm not doing much, am I? Bobby says, it's an easy as doing anything else in the app, but I think it would help with the word of mouth. Okay. Like, is that like making a different separate channel for it instead of using my current content, my YouTube, Twitch, Discord, separate from that? I guess that makes sense. Real Corda says, my first game was Game Jam, to be honest, and it went better than I really thought it would. Yeah, I mean, essentially that's what happened. I was working on a game, and I was working on a feature, and that feature for the original game, I thought, oh, I could just make a game out of it, so I did it in Game Jam. And then I got a pretty good feedback in terms of like people who has played it. They were like, oh, I can see myself like paying money to play this game. And I was like, oh, okay, well, like, that's a good signal, so let me make a full game out of it, and that's where I am right now. But anyways. Alright, so Bobby Hill says, I'm sorry, it means like Steam activity, but for Discord. Oh. It's like setting up a store page for Discord that links to Steam that shows up when people have Discord active on their... Oh. Okay, I gotta look into that. I've never heard of that. I mean, if it's like a good extra avenue for people to access my game, then I feel like it's worth doing. By the way, I don't know how you guys feel about my voice, but I, for Prime Day, purchased some fancy gears. This is a USB mic, by the way, and I do a lot of sound leveling and stuff like that, but I do still have an isolation issue, and I have always wanted SM7B. So I got an SM7B along with some audio interface. So we'll go through another sound check / audio evolution soon. Dort Lang says, hi, I'm also making a game. Can I send a clip of it to you for feedback? Yeah, sure. I actually have a backlog of feedback that I need to provide. I feel really bad. Some people like message me via email, and I said, oh, I'll take a look, I'll give you feedback, and then I kind of ignore their email. Not intentionally. At this point, I feel like it's too late because they've already released their game, and I've said, oh, I'll do it soon so many times that I feel like at this point I just should probably ignore it. But yeah, if you have a clip, especially if the sound is not copyright sensitive, then I wouldn't mind playing it. But yeah, or playing the clip, I guess. I like giving feedback. I have opinions. You know what's funny? You know, what do you guys feel about, like, in sports or anything, like the coach? Do you believe in a coach that can improve a player, where the coach themselves is not the best player? Does that make sense? I think it makes sense to me, because teaching and analyzing is different than executing it yourself, right? But, you know, whatever. That's something that was in my headspace before. Dirt says, it's hashtag feedback. Okay, feedback channel. All right. Well, thanks for joining the Discord. Let me pause the music here real quick. Let's take a look. Hey, here's a game I'm making in TikTok. It's in very early progress. It's basically a 3D air hockey, but you can place walls. Simple game.
What if you could change the game?
Oh, jeez. Use one of those voices. Very TikTok of you.
What if you could change the game mid-game? Wall puck lets you spawn walls on the fly. Redirect the puck, outsmart your opponent, and take the win. Play free at itch.io. Link in bio.
Okay.
What if you could change the game?
Do you want a feedback on the video? Or do you want a feedback on the game? I guess we could go both. Okay. All right. So let me take a look again, because I got a little distracted here. Hello?
What if you could change the game mid-game? Wall puck lets you spawn walls on the fly. Redirect the puck, outsmart your opponent, and take the win. Play free at itch.io. Link in bio.
It's interesting. I think it could be very fun. I guess only thing that I could see it being like either high ceiling skill versus frustration is depending on how the control works. If the control feels like, think about it this way. If I say, I imagine myself doing this and I can do that pretty easily or like intuitively, then I think it'll be really good. Because like, is it mechanical? Is the game about, because it can revolve down to like, what is it? The Fortnite problem, right? Because Fortnite building is a skill, but it's a mechanical skill. And then there's a mechanical skill of the speed and then building how you want it to build. And then there's the structure of like, I want this shape because that's my strategy. So these are like two skills, right? There's a structure, like if you're building a wall, what shape do I want? What kind of strategy do I want to use? There's a strategy brain and there's a mechanical brain. Having both is pretty good. But you know, that's probably important as my most important feedback, I think. I am curious to see what that is like. I think game is a great idea. I think it could be really fun. Separately, the demo or like the attempt at getting people to go to your Steam page, I would change the angle a little bit. It's okay if you make another video. Because like, let's see, I don't know. It's just my opinion. I want to hear what Void has to say. You said, ooh, fun concept. Where did you first say, oh, fun concept? That would be important. Because to me, the wording felt a little bit like, it took me a while to understand. When I say while, it's relevant. I'm saying like it took like 2 more seconds than it should have, I feel. Hey, thanks for the raid, Maya Rayner. Welcome, Raiders. Let's give it a little shout out. Appreciate the chunky raid here. Oh, shoot. Wait, why can I not give... Oh, somebody already did it. Thanks. Thanks, Mod, for the shout out. Raid message! I hope you had a great stream. How was your stream? Let us know, and then I'll do a little brief introduction of myself to all the people who's joining me. All right, I'll say the oh wait, hold on. Is the green screen kind of weird? Is my eyes going out of focus? Is my eye a little bit green? Anyways, hello, I'm developer Ezra, and I do game development on Godot. Right now, we're working on a game called Through the Shatter. Wish list available in the pinned comment. We have been working on this game for like 5 months. We have determined, no, 4 months. We have determined initially it was a game jam game. It's a adventure strategy game that is roguelike. Right now, I finished. Well, so we are done with the mechanics. We're done with the system. Done with everything. But I am going through a content polishing, so I did a lot of the visual polishing. And as going through it, I felt like narratively, I want to make it stronger. So we're in the process of like ironing out all the narratives, and we just talked about the lore of the game a little bit. Maya says, Lamau, my right earbud is falling apart. Ooh, sorry. Let's see. I also said, I'll be here properly in a moment, but just gotta, okay, cool. Let me know when you're ready. Lemon say hi. Alex Lieb, hello. Armelis says, Maya was making GBA emulator. Ooh, fun. GBA emulator. Wow. Some hardware coding out here. Well, I guess you don't have to, but you kind of have to understand the hardware structure of what each memory address of the Game Boy ROM means what on the hardware itself. So you would definitely need to read the specs. So that sounds fun. I could appreciate that. But yeah, so we're going through it, making lore. In terms of my background, I have a YouTube channel. That's my main thing. I do Godot content, Godot game devlog content. I would say my audience is intermediate level Godot tutorial because of my background, unfortunately. Before game development, I have been a software engineer in Amazon and Google separately, not at the same time illegally, for like 7+ years. Well, I have 10+ year professional experience. And then I took a little break because I was impacted by the first big layoff. So I was doing game development in Godot for like 3 years while doing content development. And then I went back to work just now. So I'm working right now. So my stream schedule is a little iffy. But right now we're really trying to launch. Hey, what happened to my pinned message? Wish list now. I'm trying to release this game of mine called Through the Shatter, which we've been working on for 4 months now. And here, let's see. I don't know why it disappeared. Pin messages. Unable to pin. Something is wrong. Why? Ugh. Twitch chat sometimes gets really confusing. Is something already pinned? Manually unpinned. There you go. Should be good. But yeah. So we've been working on this. It is a roguelike adventure game. Kind of looks like this right now, but actually it doesn't. I mean, I have done a lot of visual updates here. The idea is that the world is order versus disorder. The orderliness has taken over. The world is deterministic. There's one timeline. Blah blah blah. Player, the fourth dimensional being coming into the game, shattered the crystal and introduced disorder where there is randomness. So roguelike narrative is starting to happen. You're traveling through different regions in a graph-based node strategically to manage your provision and story. That's it. I mean, that's the kind of gist of it. And that also means, sorry, I'm just kind of playing the game now. There's like components like upgrading, buying items, having builds, like most roguelike games. So yeah, if you're interested in that and seeing where it goes, do wishlist it via the pinned comment. That's me. So a little bit of background. I think I said everything I need to say there. Let's see. Maya says hello. Lama right earbud, but hello, how are you? Yeah, low level Rust dev. It's been super fun. Sounds fun. I would do something like that as well as soon as I release every project that I've been working on. Maya says, unfortunately. Yes, unfortunately, I am back at job market. I know, I can't complain. As a kind of experienced software engineer who's going back to job, I know a lot of people are probably feeling the pressure of like, wow, you're complaining about working back at a big tech. I'm like, yeah, kind of. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm thankful. I'm lucky that I was able to grab that quickly as soon as I needed it or wanted it. But, the disappointment is having to do that, not making a life out of a stream and content making, you know. So here we are. It's okay. But anyways, so let's make some story here. So Sprouty the merchant. I was saying, I don't know if I want to make it so that the player has influence on the story, or at the beginning of the game, the story is already determined. I think I want to stick with the fact that the story is already determined type of thing. So in the beginning, we're going to grab these states. So we got initial state Sprouty is available. Instead of calling it first available interaction, I think I'm going to have a section that says, let's see, initial state variation on run. This is a wordy thing to say, but basically, cautious versus explorative. No, that's not. Cautious for what's the opposite? It's a brave or courageous, opportunistic, right? So we're saying on cautious state is this, where Sprouty decided to stay safe and deliver simple goods to people, villages within the region. I do wonder what this means, though. What kind of quest would Sprouty require if this is the case, you know? Courageous would be Sprouty decided to, what do you call? Brave the dangerous mountain path in search for rarer artifacts. So the result here. Thanks for the follow, Wilderns. In any case. In the beginning. Yeah, exactly, Void. All right. So far, only difference is that I don't know where I'm going to put this. I guess we can have a event here. I don't know if I want to. Kind of want to make a connection here to be able to visually see what the connections are. So, for example, events could be like Sprouty cautious, let's say. And then we can have Sprouty wait, how do I spell courageous? Why am I... Oh my god. What happened to me? Is this correct? I wrote it without thinking, but is it actually correct? For some reason, courageous sound, it looks wrong. Why is that? Anyways, okay. So we'll have Sprouty cautious. Then we'll have a Sprouty courageous here. So Sprouty can be cautious or courageous, right? That means Dragon Egg could have an impact that is affected by the what do you call voice says, don't worry about it. It happens all the time to me. Yeah. Sometimes writing is weird. Like, we've been so impacted by the autocorrection that sometimes it's like, if it doesn't say anything to you, it's like, ooh, I don't know if I'm doing it right. But yeah. Okay. So initial state is this. And then we were wording this as Sprouty here. We got the initial state variation on run. Dragon Egg. The initial state is dependent on Sprouty's initial state. Though I don't know if this is something that player can change. If Sprouty courageous The egg is lost in one of the mountain nodes with fire affinity. I think I'm going to also put that as a state here. D-egg fire affinity. Then we'll have a D-egg earth affinity. Thanks for the follow, Omri. Okay. So we'll have that. So I'll connect that as well with D-egg fire affinity here. If Sprouty cautious, the egg is lost in one of the forest nodes with D-egg earth affinity. Now, I gotta be careful here, because right now the dragon egg is connecting directly to Sprouty here, because it's in that possession, and then dragon egg is connected to these both. I know this is not the intention of this graph. That's not the intention, but I think I might disconnect this. Maybe this might be a little confusing. But basically on Sprouty, oh, I misspelled that. Sprouty cautious. Always update. Right? We got the Sprouty. We got the Sprouty cautious here. If Sprouty's cautious, Sprouty travels through safe passage like forest. And then activates or triggers D-egg earth affinity. And then courageous means got the, I'll copy and paste this real quick. Through dangerous passage like mountains, and triggers D-egg fire affinity. Right? Okay. A little bit better, I think. The organizational structure is a little better. I'm just trying to organize my thought here. I'm using it as more of an organizational structure than anything else. Kind of hate it, but whatever. How floaty it is. And then it spins around. So we got the Sprouty, we got the village hub, contains Sprouty here. Sprouty carries the dragon's egg. When did I connect this line? I think we're gonna say initially it's in a village hub. That's fine. I mean, as long as I can understand it, it's fine, I think. Narrative design, I don't have to worry about that. I think I should probably disconnect it from the main. That's fine. Okay. All right. We got Warden now, which is over here. Is in regional storage. One of the things I wanted to do was the decision to, let's call, where is it? Where did I do it? Sprouty here. Initial state variation on run. Copy this real quick. Man, there's really no good way to organize all these thoughts, huh? It's pretty complicated. All right, warden of the storage. I think the two things I want from the warden is that warden smithy or wants explosion, and then there's warden Warden wants Void Harvest. And basically, oops, oh my gosh, I don't know how to navigate this. I'll delete this real quick. So if the Warden wants explosion, that means locked storage gate is recommended to be blasted through. And then if it is Void Harvest, ignore the locked storage gate and try recruit Melanoi to harvest the void for provision. Hey, thanks for sub on YouTube, Nick Schaefer. Okay, I mean that's the idea at least. So they have some connection here, Warden and the Melanoi of the Dark Forest. I wanted to say once explosion means Warden decides that the storage needs to be accessed since that is their duty. Informs the player about the artificer smithy. Yeah. Who can build an explosive, unexplosive that could be used. And that's good. That's the on success. Blow up storage gate state here. The Warden doesn't want to waste time keeping up with the duty. Rather wants to come up with new ways to figure out provision problem. Mentions the rumor of use of void as provision and points to Dark Forest. Which on success, I guess that's nothing here. We mentioned Dark Forest is not accessible because of the void cloud. So the lantern is important here. So where are we going to grab the lantern? So there needs to be some sort of deterministic or random ways to access the lantern here. Potentially, lantern can be... Oh, I know. When Sprouty is courageous, key item, Sprouty finds Void Lantern. I guess we could put that under key item here. Key or folder. Key items. It's gonna be a little confusing here. How do writers do this? It's so much work and so much web of knowledge that you need to keep. I personally feel, as a programmer, I feel like writing is a lot harder than, or writing a like sensible, interesting story web is a lot harder than writing a program. Respect. All right. So key item here, we got the Void Lantern. In-game item effect. we're gonna have to do here. We got narrative effect. Allows vision through a dark forest here. Through void cloud. Voice says, patience, time and a lot of drinks and time. Exactly. Exactly. And it does take a lot of time, that's for sure. I wish I knew how to like filter out part of the graph so I don't have to see like the rest of the file. Like I have these like a technical design doc that are connected to each other, but I only want to see the narrative folder. So I don't know if that's something I can do or not. Hello? There you go. Yeah, I don't know. Properties. Tags? Can I do it by the tag? I don't know. Somebody who knows somebody who knows what do you call the Obsidian very well maybe could tell me. Because I really am like, I just want to see the narrative stuff. Drag this out. Get out of there. That's the only way to separate that. Hey, you on site. Welcome. Hello, hello. Long time no see. To no fault of your own, obviously. It's going well. We are going through kind of like narrative provisioning in some sense. We're trying to clean up, harden the kind of narrative beats and relationship here. So we're doing a lot of story writing. Ewa says, dude, the Steam summer sale. Is there a lot of good games out there? I'm not really super intrigued by a lot of things, but no, I haven't done. I'm so focused right now. I'm trying to release this demo this month. So like, I'm like, work this game. And then also content making. Like there's so many responsibilities that I haven't really thought about like playing a new game or looking for new things. I should take a look though. I'm also, it doesn't help that I'm also on the like in the saving stage. I'm trying to, sorry, gosh. I'm trying to save some money overall. Okay, so Warden also mentioned something about the key. There is a hint. We'll say initial state variation on run. We got this. When the key fragments, I think there is a key fragments that were misplaced by Warden that can be found as well. Not sure what that means. If the storage key fragments get collected, broken and misplaced storage key fragments can be found and forged together via smithy. This allows the access of the storage without the path of explosion or void harvest. Now, what does this do? This does it restore order? I think this restores the sense of order. No, I don't want to do that. It needs to impact Warden in some way, right? So like if player no, let me think. I mean, a lot of things could happen, so I got to figure this out. I got to think. There's a lot of uncertainty. Godot says, hi. Hi, Godot. Void says, I downloaded a few fames and plan on getting a few more. Fames? Games. Oh, okay. Eo says, did you see the Steam machine? No. Will you buy? Oh, you mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want to buy them right now. Right now, the whole like chip pricing and like whatever is pointing it towards like, you should probably wait for things to be cheaper. I don't know if it's worth it. I guess the idea is like, is it ever going to get cheaper? The hardwares. I don't know. Are those times in the past? It'll never be back. Grey Hat Gen X says, check out the add-on to do what you described in your Obsidian graph. What? You gotta tell me. Sorry, Grey Hat. I didn't see your message earlier. How long is this? 3 months? Sorry. Hey, K-Cug. Grey Hat Gen X. How do I access add-ons? I just downloaded Obsidian and I just started using it, and I didn't look into anything. I didn't hover over any of these things to see what is available. Just by base, like the organizational structure itself gave me like, oh, you can filter though. Ooh, narrative. Can I do that? How do I... Hold on. Wait, how do I... Wait, how did it decide what the group is? No orphans. Hold on. I feel like there's something here. Filter seems about right. Narratives. Hold up. I guess I could do... Whoa, what is that? Oh, you can tag things, I guess? Hold on. So we got this. Can I tag them? Bookmark, search in folder, or do I have to select them? Do I have to go like, for example, if I drag this guy out, everybody over here. Greyhead says, click the cogwheel at the bottom to access add-ons. Add-ons. Hold on. Add-ons. Add-ons. Core plugins. Community plugins. What am I looking for, though? Browse. Graph something graph. Graph view display images managed. No. What is this called? This is called open graph view. Okay. Let's see. Yonsei says, will you buy one to optimize for it? I'm not really sure. I mean, I have good enough computer that I almost feel like I don't need the Steam machine. But we'll see. Kudo says, what are you working on right now? I'm working on the narrative of a narrative design and plan for the Through the Shatter. Reason I paused my game to do that is because I noticed that some of the level design kind of depends on the story. How I want the story to play out. So I think somebody said it in the beginning where it's like, if you want to do narrative, you probably should plan the narrative first. And I was like, nah. Well, it turns out it's kind of correct, but it's also not correct because the way I work, I can't imagine certain narratives until part of the game is like already flowing. Like it's like getting me in the mood for it, you know? Kudo says, working on a project at the moment, taking a break from hectic work week. Oh, yeah, it gets busy. Extended graph. Okay. So I see extended graph here. this one right here. I can install it without knowing what it does. I installed it, I think. All right, do I have to reset? Hold on. That's the one. I love it. Okay. Do I have to restart the app? Here, let me, boop. All right. Okay. And then, hold on. Oh, I got this. I think it's enabled now, right? Oh, I got to turn it on. Yay. Okay. Folder. Display folder boxes. This seems right. Am I crazy? That seems like that's what it is. Enable, yes. Try to handle too many nodes. Limit is 20. Oh. Hold on. I'm learning. Hold on. I don't think it has to be forced. Filter. Bobby says, you shouldn't need a Steam machine to optimize your game for the specs, but I might buy a Steam Deck or at least controller to lock on. Yeah, I did that. Actually, let me show you. My game is officially controller supported, by the way. I thought it was pretty cool when I was able to finally do it. Play the game on my Steam Deck. I wonder if I can show it. Ugh, battery's dead. Is it? Hold on. Can't really tell. Oh, I think it is dead. Oh well. I'll just get it charged. In any case, so I got this control working, and it's pretty good. It's actually pretty fun to play around with. Game is just extremely difficult right now. But yeah, Steam Deck is very useful. Grace says, just mess around with it. You'll find the perfect setup for you. I see. Okay. Let's do, I'm going to try the whole folder thing. Because right now, that's just more intuitive to me. I don't know what global means. I'm going to turn both on. Try to handle, the limit is 20. You can change this in the setting. Oh, okay. Zoom on node, filter, performance. Oh, there it is. Let's do 100 for now. Okay. Yes. Reset graph. Open state setting. No. Ooh, I feel like it's already kind of separating things out. Select mode. Folders. Ooh, okay. We're getting somewhere. Aha. Okay. Like that. Can I make it so that only that shows? Can I group that? New group. Narrative. Can I... How does grouping work? It doesn't really say how the group works. Let's see. Ooh, selection mode. How do I select? Unpin all nodes, pin multiple. Not really sure. Hold on. I'm trying to figure it out. This is so hard. But Snorkeler says, do you use Obsidian for task management? I'm trying. I'm trying to learn. I only do Obsidian initially. Well, I started doing Obsidian for like documentation organization and ideation phase. But I'm trying to I'm doing a narrative planning, and part of it I really need to see the graph because that'll really help me. And I'm trying to get only certain folder to show up, and it's hard. Nightbed says wave. Hi, Nightbed. But yeah, we're trying to figure this out. Options. Add to current selection. What do you mean selection mode? Like, if I click right now, oh, I can right click. Open default M, no, none of these. You would think. Ooh, path? Ooh, you can do path. Okay. Hold on. Narrative. Wait, is that... Wait, but... What's going on? Why is it... I feel like it's significantly less. Oh, I gotta do path, I think. Path. Narrative. Boom. Yes. Okay. There you go. All right. Reset? Oh no! I didn't mean to reset. Hold on. Path. There. Okay, pretty cool. This could work. All right. I don't know what this is doing there. There you go. I think that's it. Got some NPCs here. Got some regional structure. All right. Let's see if I can unravel this a little bit. I don't know what the option for these things are. Oh my gosh, I need to get a haircut. Look how long and flat my hair is now. Not very... Okay, hold on. Option. Show graph state. Forces. Center force. Ooh, okay. Yes. Link force. There you go. Oh. Okay, we made it so that it repels hard. Okay. That's not bad. We got some okay. You know what? This is more workable here. So we have the central narrative design plan here. All right, cool. Cat says so luscious. Are you talking about my hair? It's not. Look how flat it is. I need to get a haircut. We gotta work on this, guys. Everybody, let's decide on Ezra's hair. No, I'm just kidding. I know there's this one guy that's always like, Ezra, when are we gonna get mohawk? Not gonna get a mohawk, guys. Anyways, very distracted. Okay, I'm gonna reduce maybe the distance. Oh no! I just did it. I just clicked on time lapse. Oh hey, this guy's like by himself. Anyways. All right. Okay, cool. So what do we got? Narrow design. We got the warden. Yeah, collected storage key, which is right here. Doesn't do anything. So Player can collect storage key and gain the key together via smithy. This allows the access of the storage without the path of explosion or key. That's true. And then that means we're going to have a storage key, which can be done by this. Gain storage key here. Oh man, it moves a lot every time something new spawns. Okay, Dwarven Workshop seems like they have a lot of functions here. So in Dwarven Workshop, Smithy exists, and Smithy can craft I guess the craft state is separate. So we have the craft and we have what we can do is forge. We can do forge storage key fragments. We can do build explosive. And then this one is triggered by the conditionally via the Warden 1 explosion. We blow up the storage gate. We didn't really talk about how that impacts the world here. That might be the main beat here with the dragon's egg. I think there's additional thing that I was planning originally here, where I was thinking, I just need a reminder here. Let's see. Catalyst, we talked about the Sprouty Smithy, Warden Smithy connection. We don't worry about that. Egg. Fire Egg plus Smithy is Fire Egg brought to Chaotic Experimentation Smithy, lets them forge a fire-attuned chaotic weapons. Yes. So, okay, so here's the thing. So we were saying that the egg affinity can be fully hatched with the help of Smithy. So we got a new connection here. That's for the fire. Earth egg can be hatched with the help of Melanoi. The effects are important here. The eggs can be... I don't know what... Because I still want to have... because there's two different states of Smithy, right? So we have Smithy that's in... let's see. We can set Warden with initial state variation here. So we're going to do the same thing for Smithy. We have the... Smithy is... explore new material, or I guess a chaotic crafter. Smithy wants to experiment with the newly available materials influenced by the void. And then Smithy the Crystal Crafter sticks with what he knows and builds predictable, non-risky, but well-crafted items. That's the idea here. So we're going to make 2 states here. So that one is going to be this thing, chaotic crafter. And then we'll have new one that is crystal crafter. Boom. And we'll connect that as well. We'll find out how useful this all actually ends up being in terms of organizing. But it does feel pretty nice because I get to see where things are like spreading and where it's lacking in terms of like connections. Hey, Farus. Farus says hi. Hello. Hello, hello. Welcome. All right. So we got some good connections going on. We got relationship between Smithy and Egg, Smithy and Warden. There's also additionally the key item called Void Lantern. So I think what I'm going to do here is that if Smithy, maybe I should call him Smith instead of Smithy. Smithy becomes a chaotic crafter. The Void Lantern unlocks at higher level the crafting of, or craft recipe for Void Lantern, which gives access to the Dark Forest. So here's the thing about like, well, you can't really get to the Dark Forest until you have the Void Lantern. Smithy has an option to craft that. Sprouty also, I think, has an option to do that. Probability of finding a lantern. Infernius says, just followed a fellow game dev. Oh, hello. Hello, a fellow game dev. Welcome, welcome. We are going through it. We're going through it. Shall I say we're going through the shatter, perhaps? Anyways, but yeah, welcome. All right. So, okay, that's one way. So it's a random roll. There is a possibility that none of these characters may roll either courageous or chaotic, right? We could have a case of Sprouty becoming more order aligned, Smithy also being order aligned. Then like there's no like Void Lantern thing happening. So where would this Void Lantern be available if that's the case, right? I think potentially, oh, I know what it is. I think I'm going to actually hide a Void Lantern as, yes, okay, all right. So, new note, this kind of event slash thing, Void Lantern in Ruin. One of the Ruin treasure explore map contains the Void Lantern. Well, I guess I should do this. If Sprouty is cautious and Smithy is a crystal crafter. So in the case where Sprouty is cautious and Smithy is also order aligned, Void Lantern is still available through the Ruin. And where is Void Lantern here? I'm surprised that the Void Lantern is not showing up here. It's over here. How come that connection is not being made? From here to here. Void Lantern allows vision through Dark Forest. We have Void Lantern here. Oh, what the heck? Just created a new file. Hold on. There you go. I should probably remove this. Oh no, I gotta do the filter again. How do I... Jeez. Path narrative. Forces. I wish I could just save these settings. So I don't have to redo this every time. Let's see. So we got this. Where else did I do Void Lantern connection thing? Where is this? Lantern-y. We want to delete this, but it says, are you sure that will be moved to your system trash? Yes. Ah, Sprouty Courageous. So we'll do this right there. Okay. So we have Void Lantern here. Got items. Let's see. Maybe link distance can be a little bit shorter so I can see it better. Okay, let's see. We got Warden. Warden is interested in regional storage. Set up Void Harvest. Points to Dark Forest here. Even, I guess you could harvest. So I think Warden should probably provide some sort of harvester here. Unlock storage gate and recruit Melanoy to harvest the void. So I'm imagining the Warden would say, hey, I heard about this figure in the Dark Forest. You could try to go and ask about harvesting, which means where do you find the lantern? Sprouty could potentially be a cautious figure which provides plenty of provision. This could potentially be really hard run depending on what you land on, because right now Void Forest seems to be like it's like really locked stuff. But we'll see. All right. So far, so good. So where does the demo game end, right? So right now, player is landed on this mysterious place. Mysteries are revealed. Survival is important. And everybody is talking about going to places in order to survive. Well, mainly Warden is talking about surviving. So there's no like main driving force for a player to go anywhere. So we need that guidance. I need to figure that out. When player wakes up, let's say if the Warden interaction is the first thing. Warden says, we need to figure out this provision problem because everybody will die. And so I think upon either completing a Void Harvester, so we'll say, new note, Void Harvester setup. Void Harvester is set up via meeting of Melanoy and Warden. And then something Void Harvester. And then the other one is blow up storage gate here or collected storage key fragment. And so we say storage accessed. Provision storage has been accessed, and the provision becomes available. And this one can come from here. Unlocks or triggers. Storage accessed. Or collect a key fragment here. Gain storage key. And then essentially with the key, we can do hold on. We'll do unlock storage with key, basically. Can trigger unlock storage with key. Essentially. I think that's what's going on here. All right, so these are some of the kind of storyline options, I think. I think that's enough, honestly. Like, it feels pretty complete. So, hold on. How do I... Oop, let's do that. Let's take a look. So if I do path narrative here, and we get rid of the center force, and we're going to repel everything as much as we can. Whoa, what's happening here? Get the narrative center here. We'll make the link force be stronger. Reduce the link distance. There it is. Okay. I got the player starting. Potentially meeting Smithy. Would have some narrative about being a chaotic trader or the crystal crafter. Doesn't impact anything other than the item options that can be crafted here. Could forge key fragment, yes. Story-wise, they're not really adding much value except moving things forward. So Smithy is kind of like the facilitator. Warden is the main story driver here, who says, all right, we gotta provide this provision thing. Why do you care? Because your survival depends on it. Right. So they can either drop hints about locked storage, there's key fragments out there, or you can build the explosion, or we can build a harvester. Setting up a long time quest. Player goes to the dark. So let's see. Player goes to the dark forest, sees that I can't really access it, talks to somebody. They drop hint about Void Lantern. Either go for the ruin, lantern in the ruin, or show that the lantern is picked up by Sprouty, in which case you can see it, but it's unpurchasable. So player is playing the game to collect money. If it is ruin, player is playing the game to explore ruin effectively. Or player is farming the nature to craft the Void Lantern. So that's 3 long way for Dark Forest ending to getting to the Melanoy. For Explosion Path, it's simply whatever. Doesn't matter what the Sprouty is doing. Will be just kind of the item build, explore. Smithy will say, I need to craft, give you crafting. Explosive will be one of the late level crafting, which will encourage player to play, repeat, do the game loop, and build the explosive, in which they get to blow up the storage, and then they access, and the game is end. If they reject all these paths, no matter what the story is, they can still try to look for key fragments throughout the world. Which I guess could be a different type of game. I think I would make it so that is a random detection. I think Warden should probably have some hint about like feels weird. I lost the key. Broke the key and I lost it. Player, if that's player's goal, there's no way for them to track it down. They have to just kind of run across it, explore the entire world and hope that they run across it. I definitely think there should be some sort of logic behind it, some sort of puzzle. So maybe we can add something along the lines of like the access key I had, I lost. The spare keys have been broken and kept separately, but I kind of forgot about it. There are notes. There are notes in designated area. Ooh, I've hidden the notes in the lattice shrine. I think that would be good. I think we can say there is an event here, which is key fragment hint reveal. Warden mentions that the spare key fragments were built but hidden away in places. The hints of those places are stored in the lattice, or I guess I could say the lattice, the shrine of the lattice. So pointing player to go to the shrine in search of the notes, and the notes reveal hints on key location. So you can actually actively go for it if that's something that you enjoy. So this would be like, if you've optimized your build for overworld travel, like where you can travel overworld efficiently, then you can utilize to get to the end, because you just need to pinpoint and go to places. The other one is craft and like collection. The other one is budget management. And then overarching theme is provision management. So I think we're in a good place for various builds. Of course, the enemies and all that is separate issue. Let's see. The key fragment hint reveal can be done by Warden. I think we're in a good place now. Let's see. Void lantern can be built. I got this. Let's see what's at the edge. Unlock storage with key, storage key collected. That's fine. Smithy can forge them to get to the collected storage key. I think I'm gonna say the hints for fragments are defined by hint reveal. Like that. Cool. What do we think here? Now, of course, I didn't plan any like specific item list or anything else other than the main story, but this is like the main narrative of the game, I think. Like at least the Act 1, which is the demo. So demo experience is, in this broken world, you get to experience different narrative versions of each characters, but then there is a overarching theme of solve the issue of provision and supply in the current post-shattered world. and then player has an opportunity to experience the game mechanic, optimize builds in different ways, and multiple runs become meaningful. I think we're in a good place. This is a good stopping point for that one. Okay, we're exactly at 2 hours. I'm sorry my streams are shorter these days, but I think we're in a good place. And we're going to continue. Unfortunately, I don't know. I'm going to work really hard over the weekend. Not really sure if I can actually release the demo by 1 to 3 days in 3 days. Be on the lookout. If you guys are interested in the demo date news, join the Discord, of course. Not only that, go wishlist my game right now, obviously, because when the demo gets released, it'll be available. Otherwise, that's that. Let's raid out, shall we? I think that's a good idea. Let's see. Who do we got here? Thanks for watching, everyone. And hopefully I'll be back next week. GMTK is coming up in July, so I will definitely be targeting for that one. Hopefully. I do have a work-related... I'm going to San Francisco, by the way, for a week in July. Work-related events. So if you guys are in San Francisco and you want to hang, let me know. Okay. Let's go to, I don't know, Steam Coco, I guess. We haven't been. Have we? We haven't. And we follow this person, so probably a good place to go. Infernia says, when in July? I think 3rd week. 19th through 25th, I'll be in San Francisco. So you have my Discord. You can DM me or whatever. I don't know. I would do let's do a little meetup and then have a plan, but I don't think I have enough viewers who wants to meet me in each area to do that. So unless you can point me to like a game dev, a local meeting during that time, then maybe I could do that. Anyways, where did it go? Where did my rate thing go? It's over here. All right. Bye, everyone. See you later. Okay. And then we can say bye to our good old YouTube afterwards.
Probably not have it.